There is one type of exercise that is the most important for people over the age of 50. And in today's video, we're going to reveal what that type of exercise is and the 5 reasons for why it's so important. If you don't know who I am, my name is Harlow and I'm the Over-Fifties specialist physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And today we're going to be talking about the one most important type of exercise for people over 50. So let's jump straight in with what this vital type of exercise is and why it's so important. So the most important exercise for people over the age of 50 is, drum roll, walking. And before you say, oh, Will, that's so boring, walking is obviously important. Why is this video going to give me anything new? Then stick around because I'm going to give you 5 reasons you might not know about for why walking is so important and my personal recommendation for how to walk better. So one of the main reasons walking is such an important exercise is that it keeps the bones strong. Now, when we walk, we are sending a signal to the bones in our body, especially the weight-bearing bones, that they are still needed. So if you don't walk, if you don't do weight-bearing exercise, your bones don't get that signal, which means they don't know that they're still needed. So the body starts to break them down. It goes, well, we don't need this expensive bone tissue anymore, this tissue that costs calories to maintain. The body's always in survival mode, which means it tries to get rid of the things we don't use. So if we're not walking, if we're not weight-bearing, there's no signal going to the bones, same as the muscles, and the body will start stripping it away. That might seem obvious for places like the shin bone and the thigh bone, but it also applies to the spine. So if you're one of the many people who's been diagnosed with osteoporosis, you'll know that one of the measurements they take is how much density you have in your spine. And walking can actually improve the bone density of the spine because the spine, guess what, is a load-bearing joint. If we're walking, it has to remain upright and erect, which means that there's a signal going through the bone that they're still needed, and that means the body makes them stronger. So if you want strong bones and you want to reduce your risk of osteoporosis, walking is absolutely vital for you. The second reason that walking is so important is that it maintains muscle strength. Now, our muscles are just like our bones in that they respond to what we do. If we don't do very much exercise, guess what? The body says we don't need all that expensive muscle tissue and it starts to take it away. So when we walk, we end up sending a signal to our calf muscles, our tibialis anterior on the front, our quads, our hamstrings, our glutes, our upper glutes here, our back muscles, our core. Everything gets that signal that it's still needed. So even though it can't necessarily grow muscles when you walk, it does help to maintain them. And I have a hunch that someone who does exercises in the gym to build muscle will probably maintain or build more muscle if they walk lots than someone who just goes to the gym, then goes home and does nothing else. So I think it's very, very important for muscle strength to keep your walking at a reasonable distance each day. That will also help you with your independence. It means you'll be able to do more stuff around the house without needing to ask for help. And walking and muscle strength also helps to maintain your balance. When we're walking, we obviously have to go from one foot to another. So at some point during the walking gait, we're on one leg. Now, if you don't have very good muscle strength and you don't have very good balance, guess what? Walking is going to be difficult for you. But walking can help to build both of those things, which is another reason it's such an important activity. Another reason walking is so important is because it helps you maintain the mobility of your joints. When we walk, we have to take our ankles through a near enough full range of motion. Our knees have to go into extension and then into at least sort of 70-80 degrees of flexion. And also our hips, we have to flex them and extend them in order to be able to walk properly. So just walking and not doing any other exercise can maintain the mobility in some of these joints to an extent. We still recommend working on it, especially if you have a problem, but walking will help you get at least half of the way there with your joints. So if you want healthy joints, walk more. Another thing that walking does is it helps to regenerate some of the lost cartilage in your joints, especially the ones that have arthritis. It's a myth that walking more and more will wear down your joints. This actually is not the case. It's been proven by scientific literature that walking more won't strip away your cartilage, it will actually help you to grow new cartilage. So it's very important for people with arthritis too. Another great benefit of walking is it helps you to maintain your cardiovascular system. Now, your cardiovascular system is comprised of your heart and your lungs. We obviously need these organs. They're one of the main things that keep us alive. And if we don't do very much walking, if we don't do very much exercise, they can get weak as well. Just like our muscles, the heart, which is also a muscle, and the muscles that control the lungs start to become less efficient. You can't get as much air in, you can't use the oxygen as well, you can't blow out enough carbon dioxide, and your heart can't pump as hard if you don't practice crucial activities such as walking. Now, a top tip for you here, if you want to develop a stronger cardiovascular system, is to try walking on hills. So up and downhill walking is more efficient at improving your cardiovascular system. The other thing that can help is exercises like rucking, which is walking with some weight in a rucksack. As long as you have a healthy back and you have joints that aren't going to complain too much, again, this will make it a harder workload when you walk, so you'll get more bang for your buck in terms of time spent. And rucking is also a brilliant type of exercise to help you build more muscle. You have to use more quad and more glute and more calf to help you walk further and faster if you've got a weight on your back. So if you haven't considered that, it's definitely something to have a think about trying. And the final point I've got for you here is that walking is fantastic for fat loss. If you're someone who wants to lose weight, walking should be a crucial part of your plan to do so. And here's why. If you want to lose weight, you can choose to either exercise more or eat less. And there are pros and cons to each method. If you choose to go down the eating less route, what you'll find is you'll start off doing quite well, but eventually you're going to start to get more hungry. And cutting even 500 calories out of your daily diet will be enough to start to increase the hormone ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone, and it will also make you feel a little bit cross, a little bit hangry, if you like, if you have too much of that swirling around your system. So cutting calories too much, it works at first, but sometimes people can go amiss on it, and it's why people rebound a lot on certain diets, because it's difficult to maintain a calorie deficit. Park that for one moment and let's go to increasing your exercise. And increasing your walking is a great way to increase the amount of calories you burn each day. So if you picked up another hour of walking, that's probably a good 300 to 400 calories burnt that you wouldn't normally burn, and you don't have to change your diet to allow you to do it. Because it isn't an intense exercise for most people, you won't have to eat a lot more food in order to fuel it, but you will end up with a slight calorie deficit if you keep your diet the same. You won't get as much ghrelin, you won't get the hunger hormone coming out, so you probably won't feel as hungry later in the day. You'll also get the extra bonus of stronger muscles, stronger bones, and a better cardiovascular system, which you won't get if you just go down the diet route. Now, I would recommend, if you want to lose weight, most people start off just by increasing their walking and keep everything else the same, assuming they're not eating a ridiculous amount of food. If you are eating a sensible diet but you're struggling to lose weight, try adding another 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 steps per day and just see what happens. In order to make this work, you are going to need to track it. So one of these is fantastic. I love my Garmin watch. I'm not paid to say that, but it helps me to track my steps. You could even get a little pedometer if you don't want to buy a watch, or you can often find that you have one of these installed on your phone already. So tracking steps and just trying to increase it by several thousand per day, if that's sensible for you to do so, is a great thing to do. So what are my recommendations for walking? Well, I would recommend that most people start off just by tracking what they do on average over 7 days. You might find that on average you do 4,000 steps per day, let's say. For the next week, I want you to try and hit 5,000 per day. And then the week after, I want you to try and hit 6, and work your way up to doing 7, 8, maybe even 10,000 steps per day for a healthy walk load. Now, there's nothing magic about that 10,000 number. It was literally plucked out of the air by a Japanese researcher in the 1960s, so don't worry about it, but it is about the equivalent to 5 miles of walking, which is a nice round number, and it's a good thing to shoot for. So those are the benefits for walking and why it's such an important exercise for over 50s, or just about anyone really. So that's why walking is the most important exercise for over 50s to master. I hope that video has been useful, and I hope it's inspired you to add more walking into your daily routine. Just a small addition to your number of steps each day can make a massive difference to your health over a period of time. It's something that I've incorporated into my routine in the last few years, and it's made a massive difference to me in many ways that I hadn't even imagined before I got started. So hopefully you can do the same too. If you found this video useful, do drop a comment below and let me know, because I'm always interested to hear your thoughts. And if you want to get more from me, you can pick up a copy of my book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50, and it's got loads of tips and advice and exercises to help you walk more and to help you remain active. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll speak to you on the next video.